Hello, Meoni here, and welcome back to another Cash Shop video. Today we're looking at the updates added today, the 5th of January 2024. Of course, this is in celebration of the upcoming Tokyo Fan Fest this weekend. And basically, we just ended a sale for the winter sale, and now we have a brand new sale, which is entirely different. And this sale will be open until the 7th of February at 6:59 GMT or 17:59 AEDT. We'll look at what's on the sale in just a second. But a brand new item, which will also go into the game, everything's time-stamped if you want to skip ahead, is the Woodland Warden's Attire. This is a 5-piece set with no helm. Presumably there's no helm because they wanted both Viera and Hrothgar to not feel left out. Presumably. But there is no helm associated with this. We get a top, finger stalls, which are gloves, breeches, skirt, and long boots. You'll be interested to note then that instead of having gender locks, this is free of those, and the way around that is they've included both the breeches and the skirt usable by both male or female characters, which is really cool. So if you want to use the skirt on a male defined character, you totally can, and vice versa. I do like that. So that personally, in my opinion, makes that actually a 4-piece rather than a 5-piece, because obviously we don't have a helm. This will cost you £11.16 in the United Kingdom. If you're interested in the United States, of course you are. $18 US is what it will cost you for this full set. This is a fully dyeable outfit, by the way. You can have a little bit of a dye preview there, but we'll go in the game and do that properly in a second. And in euros, that works out at €13.50. And back to yen is 1980 yen. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. In terms of the sale items then, there's not actually that many items on sale. These are all FanFest related items. A lot of them, some people like, some people don't like, but this could be a good opportunity to pick them up if you didn't the first time around. This includes the Garland GLIS account-wide mount, which has the sidecar, where essentially you sit on the back with Alpha if you're the passenger. The 2 orchestrion rolls for Forge Ahead, both the band and piano versions, which are excellent, by the way. And then we've got the Advent of Light emote, the Fantastic Cheer set, the Cheer on Bright, Cheer on Violet and Green separately, the Pulse Orchestrion roll set 2, which is very much worth it in my opinion, because that's a huge album of music, and the Eorzean Symphony Orchestrion roll set as well, if you prefer things to be slightly more melodic. And that's what that looks like as well in dollars, in case you want to see. So some things are a lot more expensive than others, as you would expect. But yeah, this isn't just an orchestrion roll, this is a set of rolls. For example, if you're wondering why the price is quite large for an orchestrion, it's because it isn't. Right, so the last thing to do then is to jump into the game and have a look at the Woodland Warden's Attire. Alrighty then, here we are in the Grand Cosmos, my favourite place to record, as we all know by now, because of the time of day never changes and it never rains and it's always daytime. Lovely jubbly. Let's look at this outfit together then. So as I said before, it is 5 pieces, however it's really 4 pieces because you interchange depending on which type of legs you want to use, either the skirt or the breeches. I think first of all, let's look at, I think it's best if we look at the boots separately from everything else first, as we often do. So this is what the boots look like if you're interested in perhaps just picking it up for individual items. Let's turn off depth of field. I think the boots are absolutely beautiful, personally. I do think that the game has a lot of really good boots in it already. They are flats, they're not heeled or anything like that, but the detail is lovely, especially on the top there. I'm not sure what you call that, the top bit of a boot. What's that? It's not a tongue, is it? It's not a... don't know. Keep wanting to call it a hem. I don't know what that's actually called. The stitched bit that folds over on the top of a boot. I have no idea. But anyway, it looks really nice. It's got a bit of brass in there as a bit of an inlay, and we've also got silver. Very nice details, actually. Really good quality up close and personal. Continuing the trend of looking at items individually then, these are the male designed legs that obviously are, unlocked gender-wise, so you can wear them on whatever you want. For some reason, it has a dagger on the hip there, which is very interesting. Quite nice details. Lots of nice details. And yeah, they're quite normal. I've seen these quite often before, or similar designs to this in the game. but the quality is quite nice. The stitching's nice on the side there. I think this is probably going to be the least favorite of the two for me, because it's up against quite an interesting skirt here. As you can see here, let's take off the top in case you're wondering where that finishes. But as you can see, the tights and the skirt come together. It finishes at the ankle line, and that's the detail that we've got to work with there, which is quite nice, isn't it? We've got that sort of skirt that's split in the middle and pinned at the top. It's got kind of like pantalettes underneath, like little panty shorts. And then, of course, we've got the overturned parts of that set of tights with a bit of metal, sort of like a metal wing. And then there's sort of like embroidery in there. But that's really nice, isn't it? Probably one of the coolest parts of it, in my opinion. And of course, the reason we look at things separately is so that you can see any of the details you wouldn't normally see from one of these videos if we looked at the full set. And for some reason, we also have the Eye of Sauron as a belt buckle. So that's a thing. So interesting. So it's very similar to the Ishtola set, if you remember, with the single leather fingered glove and, you know, that kind of thing. It's interesting. Before playing this game, I had absolutely no idea that you could get gloves like this. They're awesome, aren't they? Oh, and it's got like little ring bits around the fingers there as well. I quite like that, actually. That could be a really nice contrast, especially with different, you know, skin colors and things like that. Very nice. And then, of course, we have the other side, which just has like a ring band and a wrist part that's leather underneath the bracelet that I forgot to turn off there. Interesting. Huh. So really, it's a glove and a ring and a bracelet. Very cool. The top then, finishing off the full outfit, as you can see, so without that helm, is quite nice. A lot of people might criticize the fact that it's another cape. Personally, I quite like capes. I'm biased though, but I know that the community, some members, some vocal members of it have been complaining that yet again it's another cape. I don't have a problem with it personally. To me, this outfit together, it kind of reminds me of like The Legend of Zelda. I don't know, it probably is just the green, but I'm getting like serious Link vibes from this. The chest piece is absolutely beautiful up close though. But I absolutely love the single pauldron on the side there, the metal sort of like layered plating with scratch marks on that. Very nice. I like the way that the collar doesn't clip through your hair, unlike a lot of more recent glamours that have been added to the cash shop. It just flows together nicely. Like I said though, it's a good job we looked at the skirt separately, because this top does cut off any of that detail, like almost all of it. The only thing you can tell is that there's a bit of a split in the middle. That's about it. But yeah, I really like the tight boots on this. I like the skirt, and I actually quite like the top. So I suppose the only thing that's a downside is no helm, and the gloves are okay. The gloves are okay, but I don't know if I would personally use them, because I'm not a massive fan of asymmetric gloves. I know it's weird to say. I know it's like an OCD thing for me personally. But I like the idea of having, you know, if you're going to wear gloves, you put them on both hands. I still prefer the tights, and I'm sure Fran probably does here as well. Although the legs are quite nice. It looks really good together as a full set, doesn't it, actually? And the dagger makes a lot more sense with the full set. Yeah, it still reminds me of Zelda or some kind of adventure, or maybe Frodo or something. I don't know. It's really nice though, isn't it? Yeah, all right, let's have a look at some dyes then. Let's see how this dyes. When it comes to the dyes then for this outfit, I think most people will be quite pleased by the selection that they went for, since we're still living in a pre-Dawn Trail and pre-dual dye channel sort of situation. I think that it's the right choice, the main fabric to be changed in color. I do think that the tights still look the best out of the two, but again, more bias. But it would be nice in the future for this to be revisited, which no doubt it will, so that white section can be changed to other colors. Personally though, I wouldn't be mad if it also included the metal of the pauldron. It would be cool to see that in different colors. Yeah, we decided to go for a full frontal dye preview instead of having one front and one back, so that you could get like the full comparison between the leggings and the tights. Otherwise, it's just a green cape that changes color. That's the only difference. Just what you see at the front is the same fabric at the back, and hopefully people are okay with that. There's very little detail on the back in comparison, to the front. So there we go. Looks good though in a variety of dyes, but I'm never satisfied. Obviously, I always want more dye options, and hopefully here's a good idea for the future. Hopefully we can get some other dyes, much like when the Ishgard restoration added new dyes. It would be nice to see more added in the future. We've got lots of metallic slots and other expensive like dyes we could go for, more like silk versions of colors as well. Anyway, one of the other things to remember whilst we're looking at what this looks like with other items is you can store this in your armoire. Obviously, that recent update, which is probably one of the best updates they've done, allows you to place cash shop items into the armoire. So probably one of the best changes they made, especially if you're somebody like me and regularly finds things on the cash shop that you want to purchase. It just adds these extra tabs and makes it 10 times easier to find things. And once it fills a certain page, it opens up multiple pages. So pretty damn useful. So some of the questions you might have then is, because this goes past the midpoint, does that mean we can't use skirts like the Quain Trails? And yeah, you would be absolutely right. Stuff like, skirts, most skirts that are fluffy like this, or anything that extends past this mesh, just simply will not work with this, even though the robe itself, the top, does extend out a little bit, and it should work in theory, because it's the same width really as a spring skirt. Stuff like the Quain Trails will not work. One of the other things that you might be interested in specifically is what happens to the decorations on the arm with certain gloves, right? So can you actually remove the cuffs? So it will actually just overlay like that, and you've got a nice part of it. Obviously the top just fits against that nicely. But yeah, so a lot of the things will go underneath, but some things will completely replace the arm that you see. And yeah, they look really good actually. So the customization is on point. It's the type that we like. Sometimes they try to make it so that you can't put any gloves over the top of this, which is a very strange decision. But I'm happy to report that it goes underneath whatever you put on there. So if you're wondering how that worked, allowing for a lot more variety when it comes to mixing and matching. Hopefully we get lots of really cool items in Dawntrail. I would imagine we'll get a lot of really cool items, and hopefully we get to see some of it at this weekend's Tokyo Fan Fest. I'll make sure I do lots of videos covering that, so be sure to check those out. Much love, and I'll see you all next time. Let me know what you think about this.